Many anti-racism allies have had difficult conversations in the past about race with people in their circle. It's important to have a strategy about how to restart those conversations for establishing that you can talk about race without undermining your relationship.
So if the person is somebody that you have had a difficult conversation, you've had a conversation with where you have done or thought something unhelpful to connect this in the past, you have the opportunity to reboot that conversation. Yeah, I know, look at that, look at that. We also call it the apologetic non-apology. This is like the classier cousin of sorry, not sorry, where people use sorry and are not really sorry. This is not using the word sorry, but you're actually holding yourself accountable for what you did, right? It has three elements. You mention what you did in that previous conversation that was unhelpful, that they might not know about. You mention what that was. Remember that conversation we had about the LA riots? Remember, remind them what it was, and then you say what you did that was unhelpful. You know, in that conversation, I was kind of superior. I wasn't listening. I wasn't taking you seriously. I was trying to berate you with a bunch of facts. I tried to shame you. Whatever you did that was unhelpful to connectedness. So you refer to it. You mention what you did in the past that was a problem. Then, don't apologize, just mention what you did, take responsibility for it. Then you say how you're feeling now. You offer forward some little piece of vulnerability. I'm feeling a little nervous bringing it up. I feel a little sad thinking about it. I feel a little anxious thinking about it. You offer something up how you're feeling now in bringing it up. And then you say, going forward, we talk about this again, I'm going to try not to repeat that, and I'm going to focus on asking you about your experiences. Past, present, future. Is that okay for me to ask you about your experiences? Nobody ever says no. And you are teeing up that you want to have the conversation differently. You're not asking for, you're not having the apology transaction for a whole bunch of different reasons. It might distract you. They might want to grind you into the ground. Part of you will want them to apologize. They might have been the bigger jerk, but you're not. All you're doing is to focus on what you did. So, what you did, how you're feeling now, going forward, I would like to not to repeat that. I'm going to focus on asking you about your experiences when we talk about this again. Is that okay? That's the apologetic non-apology. So there's a person in her life, and she had a conversation. It was about guns in Parkland. She shut down, and she's had some anxiety and imagine talking about it. So she's gonna play the role of this person, and I'm gonna play her. Okay. So she's gonna basically say a statement that's gonna remind me of that conversation, and then I'm going to play her, and she's going to respond to my questions in a natural way. They'll be very easy. Okay.
So what I heard was that at least one or two of the kids was a plant, and they're not necessarily part of the movement to change the way guns are affecting us. That they're trolling, and it's. What we're seeing is not the truth about Parkland.
That's interesting. You know, remember a couple of weeks ago we talked about that? I was thinking about that the other day. And I realized that we talked about that before. I kind of shut down in the middle of the conversation. I stopped listening. I kind of shut down. And I don't feel good about having done that. I want our communication to be different. And even bringing this up now, I feel a little bit anxious even just talking about it. So I just want to just own up to that and say, going forward, when if we talk about this again, like I want to not do those things that I did before, and I really want to key into asking you about your perspective and what drives it. Is it okay if I do that if we talk about this again?
Yeah, I think so, because I probably shut down in a few ways, and I know that all I did was just sort of spew out Fox News facts and reports.
Don't overdo it, Sydney. Don't overdo it. Don't overdo it, Sydney. Now look, that's the fantasy world, right? Wouldn't that be great if that happened? All right, so that's cool. So Sydney, thank you so much for that. You did good.
Thank you.
I'm gonna give you the Oscar for that. Okay, so here's the point. Thank y'all. So here's the point. The core of what I did was I recalled the conversation. I labeled my own behavior that was problematic. I told her how I'm feeling now, and I said going forward I want to be different, right? Moving forward, you now have a strategy to restart communication with somebody with whom you've had a difficult conversation about race. And the good news is you can use this same reboot strategy to restart communication with somebody you've had a tough conversation with about other topics.